Good evening. Welcome to the March 10th edition of the Derry Cooperative School Board. So let's please rise for the national anthem. Pledge allegiance. All right, so I'll take a motion to accept the non-public minutes from February 11th. First by Michael. Second by Jen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 6-0. Take a motion to approve the public minutes from February 11th.
So moved.
First by Michael. Second by Jen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 6-0. Finally, we'll accept the minutes from the February 18th public forum.
I had one edit.
Yep.
Said demons, it should just be Wolverines, just for my comment at the end.
Got it.
Thank
Good with
you.
that, Tammy? All right. All right. So we'll take a motion to accept the public forum
So
minutes
moved.
from February 18th. First by Jason, second by Jen, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0. So before we move on, I'd like to accept a motion to have our town clerk give us an update about tomorrow's election. We'll move that before delegations individuals. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
First by Jason. Second by Jenna. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Tina, you're up.
Good evening. Someday the school board will remember I'm also the school district clerk. But that's okay. I'm here to talk about the town and school election that is happening tomorrow at Pinkerton Academy from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I'm going to talk about voter registration. If you are not currently registered to vote, you must bring in a photo ID, proof of domicile, and proof of citizenship, or you will not be allowed to register or to vote. If you are already registered to vote, you must bring a photo ID, or you will not be allowed to vote. There was legislation that passed last year, and this bill went into effect on November 12th of 2024. This is new legislation. This will be the first election that this is in place. If you have gotten married between when you voted in November and when you voted now and you've updated your driver's license, you must bring certified proof of your marriage. Your marriage certificate, if you legally changed your name through the courts, but it's, you haven't changed your name yet with our office, you have to bring that in. If you've moved, you have to bring in proof where you live now, even if you've moved within Derry. This is all new. It wasn't like this before, and I understand that a lot of people are going to be very confused. So please bring all your paperwork. We don't want to send people home. We don't want to turn people away. Also, tomorrow, we will have our new voting machines in place. This is the ImageCast machine. It is different. So when you put your ballot in, you need to wait for the green check, as you see up there on the screen. The green check shows up, that means it's time for you to put in your second ballot, because everybody gets 2 ballots at the town and school election, a town one and a school one. So you vote one, you get the green check, you put in the second one, you wait for the green check, and then you walk away. So it does take a couple seconds more than it did in the past. On the plus side, you're going to get a green check, so you know your ballot has been submitted and counted. Unlike in previous years, you don't have to go to a particular machine for your town district. The machines are all set up to accept every district ballot, so you can just walk up to a machine and put your ballot in. So I thank the school board for their time. allowing me to speak, hoping to get as many voters as we can so that they know about some of these new changes. And I'd like to thank the school board members for their time, the ones that are not returning. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina.
Any questions?
I have a question. Back to the slide where it shows the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when the small elections come up, it's a great time to just go over for the brand new voters, the 18-year-olds that are going to be going in to register, that they might get hung up with the established residency since they don't have bills, they don't have anything in their name.
They can bring their report card
Okay.
if they're still in high school.
Does a digital image count?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so they can have that image digitally. If they come in with their parents and their parents are the property owners, their parents can give them residency. There's a form the parent can fill out for that.
Do the parents then have to bring their proof of residency?
So the way it would work is someone would come in, say for example, you came in with your child. We would look up, you're the property owner on that address. You would fill out the form. She would have residency to vote. If you rent, usually your children are listed on your lease. You can give that lease to your kids. They can come in with it. There are some medical bills. You can give your child a picture or a copy of a medical bill that they can bring in. It is a little bit trickier for the kids, but usually if they're in school, they have they have their report card from the last semester.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Tina.
All right, next I will open up the floor for delegation individuals. For the four people that are here, if you'd like to come up. Any name and address for the record, you get your 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Tom Carden, 2 Cunningham Drive. I just wanted to thank David and Jonathan for their time and their service to the district. I know it takes a lot of time away from your family, and you guys did a great job. You should be proud of the work you did, and thank you. And then the last thing is, I'm happy to see the wall put on the agenda tonight.
Hi, Carrie Fonjemi, 9 Burning Rock Road. I just also wanted to wish all the candidates good luck tomorrow. Thank you for stepping up, and thank you, Jonathan and David, for all the work you guys have done tirelessly over the last few years, and good luck with your future plans. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate that. Next on the agenda, we got Mr. Henry of Pinkerton update.
All right, so a few things. Rotary is doing a speech contest this Friday at 9 a.m. If there's any students interested in participating, you can email Dr. Powers and he can get you set up for that. There are cash prizes for first and second and third place. Math department is hosting SAT prep during flex period twice on March 12th and March 28th. That's open to all students at Pinkerton. And SATs and PSATs are on April 2nd. The handbook contest is also open for any artistic students to design the cover art for the handbook. Entries are due by April 5th. The start time committee met recently. They are considering a half-hour later start in the coming years. So that would be 7:45 is when last bell would ring if that happens, but no real action yet. They are going to be putting a survey out for parents and students to fill out in the coming weeks. And to any new voters that go to Pinkerton, vote tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Pinkerton. And also, thank you, David and John, for, I know you're not running again. I've known the two of you for a while now. I kind of realized that on the way over. It's been 3 years since I was 13 or 14. So, and I'm 17 now, so it's been a few years, and I'll miss you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Time does fly. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have the East Area wall that we've been discussing for the cafeteria. So just some little background information for the people watching at home. This was an item that we discussed during budget season. We, in order for us to get under default, we had to make some tough decisions. This was one of them. A few of the items that we deferred, we talked about using potential surplus funds that we have at the end of the year. This was one of the items. I think some IT items were the other. So Jane and her team got 3 quotes. They updated their quotes. They had them originally. These are updated. I guess the discussion tonight is how do we want to proceed? Because technically, you haven't, we have till June 30, right, to use unspent funds, I assume, right? June 30?
Well, as long as they're encumbered, we can do the work over the summer, but it's about a 7 to 9 week lead time in order for them to
Gotcha.
get the wall. And then, so that's probably going to be at the end of the June when they'll do the install.
All right, I gotcha. So there is
But
a
it-
time-sensitive nature
It'd be
to
great
it.
if we had a vote tonight so that we could
Okay,
notify a vendor.
understood. So I'll open it up. Any questions, guys? Yes, Jane, any concerns, any thoughts, what we should do with this? I know there was a discussion to possibly do this. Michael made some good points earlier we might want to discuss. So I'll open it up for you guys.
Yeah, David, I have just a couple questions. How did we find the vendors? What was the process? I'm assuming that this is either their specialty, or are they general contractors and can do the work, or do they solely focus on these sort of partitions and movable walls?
So the process we used, some of the things that we do, we'll put out on an RFP, put it on the website. This is very specific, so we wanted to reach out to people that do this, and there aren't a lot of people that we found do it. And actually, you could see that the third one is somebody that Jeremy had reached out to back in 2023, I think, because I was following the email chain of correspondence, and we weren't able to get them to submit a bid. And so the other two are ones that, between Rob and Jeremy, were able to research and find them. And I think, as you can see on the addresses, they're all out of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But so for one, for example, they are they do space management solutions. It's really what they, and the other firm, which is CRF. It's the same thing. They do interior design systems, so very specific to what we were looking for. They're not general contractors.
Yeah, that was the concern, right? We had 3 companies all out of Massachusetts, and then one not submitting a bid to us. So I was just wondering if the pool is pretty thin, and it seems to be that way, so.
The pool is thin, and even typically when we are going out for projects, we will notify either people we've worked with or people that are in the area. We'll let them know that there's an RFP on our website and let them know, and then also have it on the website so that anybody can apply who's qualified. In this instance, we wanted to make sure we reached out. So we didn't put it on the website, but they tried finding at least 3 people. These are none of them, CRF and Pappas are not anybody that we've worked with in the past. They are new vendors to us. But given that the quotes were for the same work, we were just recommending going with CRF because it was a little less expensive. And there's obviously electrical that needs to be done, but Jeremy is going to do that for us.
Great, and thank you, Jane. And the follow-up question I had, do we know where the supply chain or where the materials are sourced? Are they domestic? Or could this potentially be something that we might see an increase in cost based on kind of what's happening in the world today? So I don't know, I don't work with dividable walls like this, but the reality that it could potentially come from a place like Mexico and or Canada, to me, seems like it could be real. And I without seeing like the full bid and the breakdown of labor and materials and transport and all of that fun stuff, freight, you know, I get concerned that is something like that potentially should have been built in, or could there be something that might jump out at us down the line?
Sure. So I know it's CRF I'm looking at now does not have, theirs is a one price that includes everything. It actually doesn't mention freight at all. It just mentions the actual product or the system, as well as dumpsters, lifts, cleanup. Doesn't, again, mention anything about where the goods are sourced. But it's interesting that you say that, because actually we are supposed to, as a municipality, particularly for our federal funds, but I now put it on every one of our purchase orders. I have to have on every purchase order the following sentence that states, the district provides preferences for the purchase, acquisition, or use of goods, products, or material produced in the United States per CFR 200.322. And that's required. It's really for federal, but now I put it on all purchase orders because sometimes it shifts from federal to a general account. And that was one of the comments that we were given when we went through our single audit last year, that we didn't have that written in there, and it's required. So we do have to give preference. Even in food service, the majority of her goods have all have to be purchased through American Goods, unless there are exceptions for certain spices that are not made in the U.S. So yes, we do have to comply with that, but I'm not exactly sure where theirs are sourced.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
So just a little context too, before I go into that. So when we did this a couple years ago, the prices pretty much stayed the same, it looks like, right? If I'm not mistaken? Yeah. My question really is, a quote's a quote. If you were to execute a quote, can it be changed? I guess anything can change, but that's what they're telling us it's going to cost. And if we accept it or we move on, if we don't, whatever, I assume that's
I mean,
the
usually,
expectation, right?
yeah, usually quotes are held for either 30, 60
Yeah.
days, depending.
Yeah.
So if we
Okay.
enter into a contract with them, that would
Gotcha.
be the quote that we would expect to pay.
Got it. So just to add some context I didn't add earlier, this particular project was deemed critical enough to be on the original list of capital improvements for the bond when the number was, I don't remember what the number was, closer to 30 million probably. So that this was one of the things that were cut out of that process. Then we brought it back through the budget process, got cut out again. So just some background information on that. I'm not saying either way. I'm just telling you where we started with this and where. So this is a project that was deemed to be, critical is the right word, but it was up there on the list. So just
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion around
Yeah.
this during the budget process.
yeah,
I
and
remember.
even before too. Yeah.
All right, there I am. I have a question. So, I mean, normally when you are picking a company to, do business with, I always have checked with, I've asked for referrals, and I want to check on any type of warranty, I guess. So between the two bids that we have, is there anything that we're following through to see if there's a certain amount of time that, if we have any issues that they come back, does one have a better warranty or maintenance schedule, or are we checking with any of their, do they come with referrals? Do we want to look into that at all before we pick one?
We would ask them, well, if the board were to choose one tonight, we would make sure that we followed up on referrals and see what their warranty period is. Yes.
So we don't know in advance, because I feel like that would help a decision of picking one over another, but
They did not include that in their proposals for either one of them, but we would check on that before we would issue a contract. Mhm.
So a couple of things. I think when we were originally doing numbers for all of these projects, the placeholder for this project was 100,000. So we're potentially coming in, 22,000 under. So hopefully that's good. Looking forward to all the other projects that we're going to be putting out there if and when this bond passes tomorrow. And my other question is, and I hate to play devil's advocate, but let's just say the bond doesn't pass tomorrow. And then this project in the grand scheme of all of our facilities projects is lower down on the totem pole. So when we come back again on the 25th, can we still reconsider whether or not this is a project that we would want to move forward with?
Well, I mean, if the board chooses, we could wait and make a motion on this on the 25th. I can come back with their warranties, and I can come back with their references, and we can bring that to the next meeting. This project being 77,000, there really aren't any other projects on the warrant that are similar to that. So obviously, we're hoping that the warrants pass tomorrow because, just the facade at West Ronenberg is more than even we would have as a unspent fund balance at the end of this year, but this is using funds that we have available right now. Would you
Yeah.
like me to bring it on the 25th?
I agree with Jenna in the sense that for $3,000, if one offers a better warranty or something different, if it's a 15-year versus a 10-year or a 10 versus a 5 or something, it's probably worth the extra $3,000 to go with a better protection in the long run. So I don't think, personally, I don't think 2 weeks is going to be a huge deal breaker, whether we do it tonight or tomorrow, if you can bring back
Sure.
that additional information. Some references might be the shine that we need, right? One could have glowing references where the other, you might only have a handful. So we're not talking about a huge sum of money between the two, so it's worth picking the right one here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring that
Just
back
my
on the
opinion. I
25th.
agree with Jenna, so.
So do we need to make some sort of motion about it? No? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, if somebody wants to move forward with it tonight, you can certainly make a motion, but otherwise.
No,
Personally, I'm fine with punting it
yeah.
until the next meeting.
I'm fine too. The one thing I would say is, and I agree with what Jenna's saying, but we should probably do that in everything we do. Is look at warranties, look at that kind of stuff.
100%.
Because I don't think that's been really highlighted in the past, and it's something you should do. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just not remembering, but that's something we should really consider moving forward as well. All right, next on the list, we got James up with the business administrator update.
Okay, I just wanted to make mention of some of the other things that we're working on in maintenance as far as preparing for the warrant article. They went out to Gilbert H. Hood and Grinnell more than a week ago to have a mandatory walkthrough to look at the roof projects, both of which are on the warrant articles. And Grinnell had a due date of, they both had a due date of Friday, but Hood is a little bit more complicated, so they gave an extension to later in the month, but we'll have it before the 25th. All of the bids will be here for you for the 25th. And so the bids came in for Grinnell, and Brian Toner from ARM is going through and making a bid sheet to put all the pricing and all the names of the vendors who submitted their proposals that were sent. The proposals were sent to Jeremy and myself. And once the proposals come in for Gilbert H. Hood, we'll have Brian also put a package together on theirs. He also, when he gets them, same with the other roofs that we have, those do have warranties, they have references, they're all of the companies that he knows that he's worked with before. So they come with references and warranties on their roof. Same number of years, because they're very specific on the material that they're going to use. Also, they're doing the walkthrough, a mandatory walkthrough at West Runningbrook tomorrow for the facade. So that's going on. And of course, all of these are contingent upon the warrant articles passing.
No pressure.
All right, any questions for Jane?
Thank you, Jane.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh, do we? Never mind. No, that's okay. We'll talk during facility committees. All right. So Joe's up with the 25-26 school year calendar.
Okay, thank you. Cliff can throw it up on the screen, perhaps. Maybe you had a chance to take a look at it. I'd like to give you some broad strokes, kind of give you the context to this, and then we can get into some details, see if you have questions or things like that. First off, this is a little bit later than we have typically proposed a calendar. That was mostly due to we wanted to ensure that the incoming superintendent had an opportunity to provide some input into this process. So we've had a chance to speak with Mike Flynn and get his input on this. We've also talked as an administrative team, and we also sat down with the DEA to get their input, which I think is important. And we've taken a look at some surrounding community calendars as well. Broad strokes, I'll tell you the things that are the same first, and then maybe the things that are different, because there are a few differences here in this proposed calendar. This calendar has 180 student days. That's the same as we've had for as long as I think I've been here, in 25 years. It has 186 teacher days, which is in our collective bargaining agreement, so that's not going to change either. There are 6 early release days in this calendar, and there are 6 teacher workshop days, obviously, to go from 180 to 186. The other thing that's the same is parent-teacher conferences are still that up against the Veterans Day weekend in November. We've had them right around that spot for the last 10 to 15 years or so. So there's a teacher workshop day, and on that day, teachers work a shifted schedule. They work like a afternoon evening schedule instead of a morning schedule, so that to try to accommodate more families for teacher workshop day. For parent-teacher conferences. So some things that are different in this proposed calendar. Historically, we have, for the last several years, probably more than 10, we've had 4 teacher workshop days prior to the start of school. Typically, 3 of those are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the 3rd week of August. And then historically, we've used that next Monday as a teacher workshop day / orientation day / meet and greet day. And typically what happened is the 6th graders would come to school for the full day on that Monday, and the elementaries would host meet and greets for students to meet their teachers. Due to the sort of changing structure of the district, we didn't think having a day just for 6th graders made a lot of sense. So instead, what we're proposing is that doing that orientation on the Friday, the previous week, in the morning. So having all schools open in the morning for families to come in, meet teachers, especially for those students that are a little bit nervous, have a time to meet their teacher before the weekend, be able to go away for the weekend as a family, and then school would start in all, as a real official day, that Monday, in this calendar, it's Monday the 25th. So that's a slight change. Another change is by moving that teacher workshop day from the start of the year, we can insert it into more of the middle part of the year. So this calendar has 3 teacher workshop days before school starts, those ones I just talked about, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then it has 3 in the middle of the year. One of them is parent-teacher conferences. We know what that is. But 2 of them now will be able to be used for true professional development training for our teachers. So one is scheduled in October, and one is scheduled in March. The March one is the same day that Pinkerton Academy is doing their teacher workshop day, and the same day that we have our town and school elections. So that lines up with that. The difference there is in this current calendar, and what we've done for years in the past, is we have been doing a teacher workshop day after students leave, so the day after the last day of school for students. While that's really helpful for staff, it's not all that effective for any training or professional development. It's really pack-up days. So it's one of the things we worked with the DEA and said, would you be willing to give up that day, because we don't feel like it's bang for our buck in terms of professional training. And they were willing to work with us on that. Part of the trade-off is we said we could make the last day of school for students an early release day, which would give staff a couple of hours after students leave to finish packing up and wrapping up their school year. So that leaves us 5 early release days in the middle of the year and 2 full teacher workshop days. So a little bit more professional training time during the year. We also have made a commitment to work with the DEA and teachers on collaboratively designing those teacher workshop days, those 2 days, because their biggest feeling was, we love having these days, but they need to be really effective and purposeful. So we've already started the work on planning out the October day, but we'll be soliciting feedback from the teacher group. The last big change here is we're proposing 2 weeks off during the Christmas holiday break. So Christmas next year falls on Thursday. And so when we went and spoke with teachers and administrators, one of our biggest concerns about that week leading up to Christmas was the instructional value of Monday and Tuesday that week. The week of Christmas, it can be very difficult to get a lot of high quality teaching done. We also start losing families for early travel. We experienced it a little bit this year, where we came back on January 2nd on a Thursday, and we had a 2-day week followed up by a 5-day, the next week. And I actually think that was probably less disruptive than this would be, because those 2 days were kind of welcome back days, getting kids primed to come back to school. These 2 days will be what I think many teachers and administrators are afraid of would be kind of lost instructional days. So our proposal is to have the full 2 weeks off at Christmas. I'm probably not going to surprise you by this, but that was incredibly popular among teachers and administrators. But in the interest of full disclosure, not all communities are doing that. It was something that Mike Flynn weighed in on. It is the calendar that they had approved in Hopkinton, the district where he is the superintendent of. So it didn't surprise me that he was in support of that. But we kind of considered all the factors, and that's how we built this calendar. I don't know if I missed anything, but do you guys have any questions, concerns?
How does this compare with Pinkerton's calendar? Do you know? I should know, because I have 2 Pinkerton students, but I don't.
Yep. No, that's okay. So the early release days in the fall line up with Pinkerton Academies on Wednesday. And then the teacher workshop day lines up with Pinkerton's in March. We have 2 early release days in the second half of the year that do not line up with Pinkerton's days. And the reasoning is that we try to not have all of our early release days on the same day of the week, because it impacts some of the programs in our district, specifically our preschool programming, where those children only go to school either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday. So this has been an issue for a few years, that we've had a few days where it's not lined up with Pinkerton. The second thing that's not lined up with Pinkerton is the 2 weeks at Christmas. Pinkerton the Board of Trustees did not approve a calendar with 2 weeks at Christmas.
Huh. So then any families that do want to take advantage of that, now that they got the little ones out, they're going to have to pull, if they have big ones, they'll have to pull them out for those
Yep.
2 days.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
First by Jonathan,
Second.
second by Michael. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. Thank you, guys. All right, Austin, you're up with personnel.
Okay. I have 2 resignations. Sarah Mazer, special education teacher, East Derry Memorial Elementary School, and Megan Seralt, special education teacher, West Runningbrook Intermediate School.
Move to accept with regret.
First by Jason. Second by Jonathan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0. All right, Austin, you're still up with your update.
Okay. I hope everyone had a wonderful February vacation with lots of time to spend with family and friends. Weather was way nicer than those districts and states who had the previous week off. Hopefully everyone got some much needed rest and relaxation and came back prepared for the last couple of weeks of the trimester 2, which, by the way, ends this Friday, March 14th. Trimester 3, therefore, will begin this coming Monday, 1 week from today, March 17th, which, of course, for those of us that celebrate it, is St. Patrick's Day. Don't forget to wear your green. March is also Read Across America Month, and I can't wait to visit all our elementary schools to read to as many students as possible in a number of different grades and classrooms. I read to all 4 grade 4 classrooms today in East Derry Memorial. It is so much fun to be able to interact with our students in this way and to pass on to them a love of reading for both knowledge and for fun. I hope some of you have the time in your schedule to read to our students, and I look forward to seeing some of you over the next few weeks. For those of you who will be participating, thank you very much. Those of you who wish you could participate, but your schedule does not allow you, I thank you for wanting to. All right, I want to give a kindergarten enrollment update. Remember, if you have a child in Derry of kindergarten age, we will have a seat for your child in kindergarten. That said, seats at each of our neighborhood schools are on a first-come, first-served basis. We have a total of 306 seats, and as of now, we have 248 seats filled. Last year, it filled up quicker than it had in any of the previous years, and this year it's filling up even faster. That is over 80% of our seats already registered and filled. So please do not wait if you want to make sure your child will be at their neighborhood school to attend kindergarten. Thank you. And I want to take a moment to thank Jonathan and to thank David for their dedication and their work on the school board. It is, as has been said, people like Tom coming to the microphone and Kerry coming to the microphone. It is quite a commitment, and it does take you out on nights, and it takes you away, and there's meetings, and you got to schedule your work around and so forth. And we really appreciate those individuals that are willing to participate on this school board, and I want to thank them for their years of service and wish them well in the future. And there's probably been enough talk over these last months and so forth. Tomorrow is voting day. If you haven't heard that yet, it is 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. over at the Pinkerton Academy Hackler Gymnasium. And please come out to vote, not only on the many town elections, but also on the school board seats, the school board facilities bond, the school district budget, and the 3-year teacher contract. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Austin. All right, next we have FYIs. We have the March enrollment report. I don't know if anybody has any questions for the administration before we move on. All right. So committees, we have manifest. Oh,
I will make a motion to approve the manifest for a grand total of $5,434,969.40. That consists of general payroll of $4,015,580.70 and general expenses of $1,419,388.70.
Second.
All right, first by Jonathan and second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Any other committee updates? I know we have a facilities update. Jane, you want to give the brief update on the Honeywell and the ladder at, is it Grinnell? That we talked about 2 weeks ago at this point?
Sure. They had some issues with the ladder that they installed on the roof at Grinnell. It was identified when Tech Roofing was out there over February vacation. They held off doing their repair on the roof until the issue is resolved. And Jeremy was out there with them today from Honeywell, and so hopefully we'll get some resolution to that. Yep. And then Tech will be out, once it's completed, Tech will be out and finishing the repair work over there.
And I remember the expectation is this is going to be repaired at no cost, I assume.
That would be our expectation, yes.
All right. Any other, no more updates? So, other business. I don't have a long speech or anything. I just want to say the last 3 years have been incredibly rewarding. I've worked with a lot of great people, including the people sitting on this table, including 3 other people that I can remember from my first year on the board. So I want to thank you all for everything you do or are going to do the next coming year. One thing I'll say is I'm incredibly proud of what we accomplished. So. Yeah. I want to thank the administration for everything they've done. You guys did a great job. All right.
Before we wrap up, I also want to take a moment to recognize both of you that are outgoing members, David, Jonathan. It's been a privilege working with both of you over the last 2 years. You've been incredibly valuable colleagues to me personally, and you've become good friends. You're both very driven. You care deeply about Derry schools, and I think that shows in everything you've both been able to accomplish over the last several years. It's been difficult at times being on this board. I'm sure you'd probably both say it has been incredibly difficult most of the time. But I think I think you can walk out of here tonight proud of everything that you've accomplished and the direction that this district is moving in. And hopefully we can cap that off with success tomorrow. So I know I'm personally going to miss your leadership and perspective on this board. And I hope we certainly haven't seen the last of both of you.
Yeah, I'm going to echo Michael. He always articulates things so well, so I don't need to belabor it. But thank you both for your service, your leadership, commitment to the students, staff, and the community at large. Like Michael and many others up here, it's been an honor to work with you. And, you both have become friends over these last couple of years, and I feel like we've all been through so much ups and downs, and, we're indebted to the work you guys have done, and let's hopefully cap this thing off tomorrow and be good to go.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right. With that being said, I'm going to take a motion to adjourn.
Before we wrap up,
Oh, wait a minute.
I haven't said anything.
tomorrow is election day, and both Tina and Austin have said tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hackler Gym at Pinkerton. And I also want to say to everyone on this board, I'm proud of the dedication and determination of everyone this year in getting this through to tomorrow. I think everybody in the community, deserves a thank you as well for everyone that's come out to our meetings, come out to our forums, those of us that we've met, at all these different events, people that have reached out to us via email and social media, and especially to those of you that have spoken up throughout the community in support of these things. So, tomorrow's the culmination of that. So, I hope everybody gets out to vote tomorrow. Tell everybody get out to vote tomorrow.
Did you want to say something? No.
Just FYI, there was a text at 6:30 that we reminded everybody in the Derry school community.
Great.
Thanks, Cliff.
Yes, thank you, Cliff. All right, anything else before we wrap up?
I had one little thing, just
Yeah.
because this may be my last meeting. I mean, I'm not like, I have a contested race tomorrow, so thanks for giving the opportunity for the past couple months to come on here and try this shoe on for size. Hopefully it fits, and I'll be back again in a couple of weeks, but maybe I'll be sitting out there. We'll see. But thanks for giving me a chance to come on here.
Of course. All right. It's up to you.
All right, I've been co-opted into this. So I would echo a lot of the sentiments that everyone else has said here. So first and foremost, thanks to the fellow board members. I really appreciate the time that I spent with you guys, both present and past. So for those of you that are watching, you know, what we're doing today couldn't have been done if the groundwork that you had laid hadn't been done previously. So appreciate that. And I still have a phone. I still have an email. So Michael, if you ever need anything, call me. That goes for anything. Anyone on the board as well. Don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, if you just want to bend my ear for anything or complain, you know, I'll be sympathetic to that for sure. Because this is a hard job, but it is a fulfilling job. So next, I will thank the administration. You know, you guys are the ones that put the work in on a daily basis, and you show up for not only us, but you show up for our teachers, for our students, for our parents, for our custodians, for our secretaries, for everyone that comes in and out of those buildings, and make sure that, you know, our students are receiving an exceptional education, but they're also safe as well, and not just physically safe, but also mentally safe. And we get to experience that throughout the year when we have schools come and visit us, and I think we all say how fulfilling that is, and that is the part of the job that, you know, no one's ever going to be able to take away, is the fulfillment that I receive, and the amounts of buckets that get filled up in me by being able to see these kids continue to develop and prosper into really great human beings. So thank you for you guys setting that foundation and continuing to do that every day. Obviously, to the teachers, there's nothing that I'm going to say that you don't hear from your students and from the teachers and the PTAs and the secretaries, but you have a mountain of support in this town. I think you have a lot of support behind the microphones over here on this administrative table, and I think you also have a ton of support by the board members here as well. So thank you for everything that you do, and that's the smallest that we can do, is say thank you. To the students, continue to show up and smile and be bright, be kind of the shining star of our town. You know, that's something that we continue, that you are the future. And so that's really important that you guys are continuing to be involved in this process. And then to the future board members, this is a hard job. The expectation is not to just show up every other Tuesday. The work that happens between these meetings is real. It is hard. It is not easy. And you're not going to ever get a true answer, or I don't want to say true answer. You're not going to get a supportive answer on one side of an issue or not. You're always going to be in the middle, and you're going to hear it from both sides. And that can certainly take its wear and tear on you. And so please get ready to put in the work, put your big boy pants on, and get ready to do that and show up, because that's the minimum expectation that I expect of you, and I will continue to hold people accountable to that standard as well. So thanks everyone for listening to me on my little soapbox for the
You didn't even write
last time.
that down.
I didn't have anything prepared. I wasn't. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. All right, take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
First by Jenna.
Second.
Second by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0. Good luck tomorrow, guys. Have a good night.